Hey, what's up? My name's Grant Kanoki. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, and artist, and you're listening to Power 98.5.
We don't play the social game. We are social. Power 98.5. You're listening to Power 98.5, powered by United Angels Dream, your number one resource for public relations, entertainment, and multimedia. Contact them today at unitedangelsdream.com.
Prepare yourself.
Okay, let's go.
Hi, this is Dan Aykroyd. He's progressive. He's beautiful. He's thoughtful. He's intelligent. He's powerful. He's positive. He is Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5 Satellite Radio.
She don't feel it. She's crazy if she think that I can't see it. She says she's waiting over me this time. Says she'd like to leave this whole damn thing behind. I said, hey, wait, I got something left to say. You should know before you're on your way. If you wanna run as fast as you can.
All right, now that's the type of that's a vibe that we want on this Wednesday afternoon. Blues, soul, burritos, and not always in that order. My good friend Drew Dixon, how are you?
I'm great, man. I'm great. How are you, man?
I'm freaking I'm like stoked. I'm really, really stoked. I told you before we came on live, we've been working on this for quite some time. Here we are.
Yeah, man.
Right
Yeah.
now, we've got playing Run. New track published this year, 2021. Drew Dixon. Tell us a little bit about this.
Man, so it was part of a 4-song EP that we recorded last February with the intent on touring on it over in Europe, actually. And obviously, like everyone else, our 2020 was vastly different than we thought it was going to be. So we ended up putting out the songs kind of one at a time throughout the course of the shutdown. And that one was the last of the 4, and it came out about 2 months ago. And it was actually the song we've had the longest. I wrote that song 2017, 2018, maybe. And we played it live a bunch. It got great responses. So when it came time to sit down and figure out what songs we wanted to go in the studio with, that was at the top of the list. But it ended up being the last one we put out just for no particular reason. And it's been really cool to see the response. It's gotten a great response from people that, for people living in Nashville, you never really know how it's going to get received, how the genres that I fall into get received. But it's been awesome, man. It's been warmly received, and I'm really, really proud of it.
One of my favorite tracks by you is Whiskey and Wine.
Oh, thanks, man.
I really, really dig that track, honestly. I'm not a whiskey drinker, but there's something about listening to that song, No BS. Like, right now I'm out in Denver. So I guess being in this Colorado setting and you've got the alpaca and the horses, it's like I'm thinking, all right, maybe I can sit around a bonfire, maybe on a piece of wood and go ahead and have a bit of whiskey.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's awesome, man. Well, that's like a cool thing to hear about anything that, like, any art you create, I guess, man. Like, that's when I write, it's always very I've been told it's very theatric, and it's very I don't know, you can see the characters, and that's the greatest compliment to me, man, because I enjoy that. I like reading a lot, and so that when I read a book or when I read whatever, that's what I want to take away from it. So for my songs, if I can create something that makes you see yourself somewhere or see these characters somewhere specific, that's awesome. That's an ultimate compliment.
I want to thank everyone for tuning in today to be here with Drew Dixon as well as myself live on air with Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5. We're going to be doing a music drop, a live music drop of Run, Drew's new hit single. Right now, what I'm going to do, Drew, is I want to go ahead and give everyone a really, really in-depth experience. And I'm going to start off with Whiskey and Wine. I want to play that live right now.
Cool.
All right, here we go.
Her hell was a heaven she couldn't find, and he was addicted to the pain of leaving her behind. She was his whiskey, he was her wine. He's playing piano, writing another breakup song. She's in bed with a stranger, just trying to stay strong. Both lonely nights full of whiskey and wine. And an empty glass shatters on the floor like a broken heart that can't hold on. Head in their hands and eyes shut closed. Well, it's hard sometimes to fall in love, I know. There's no rest in peace, drink to ease the soul. And like a melody that falls between the lines, and words that never rhyme. Well, you can't mix whiskey and wine. They lie to themselves, thinking they can just move on, and already missed the sting like a needle in the arm. If they only loved her, does it really love at all? And an empty glass shatters on the floor like a broken heart that can't hold on. Head in their hands and eyes shut closed. Well, it's hard sometimes to fall in love, I know. There's no rest in peace, drink to ease the soul. And like a melody that falls between the lines, and words that never rhyme. Well, you can't mix whiskey and wine. Yes, it's hard sometimes to fall in love, I know. There's no rest in peace, drink to ease the soul. And like a melody that falls between the lines, and words that never rhyme. Well, you can't mix the whiskey and the wine.
Really have that voice. Like, it reminds me a bit of Johnny Cash, like his energy, like you just know who you're listening to.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
How does it feel to hear that?
It's great, man. 'Cause it goes back to the whole just being able to convey an emotion or a scene or a person or a place through lyrics. And if my voice can lend itself to furthering that, that's awesome, man.
That track belongs in a Clint Eastwood movie.
Call up Clint, man. Get on the phone.
I should probably contact his rep and get him on the show. Seriously.
That'd be awesome.
Let us know, what has your journey been like, Drew, leading up to now? I mean, you know, like you shared, you know, things are opening up, you know, coming out of the pandemic. But before the pandemic, what was life like for you personally and professionally, being a music artist?
So I grew up in South Carolina. I don't know how far back you want me to go, but I grew up in South Carolina, and I grew up in the 90s where I'm from Columbia, South Carolina. And during that time, Hootie and the Blowfish was huge, and they were everywhere. And they lived in my neighborhood and all that stuff. And that had a profound effect on me and an influence on me, because you would see them, the drummer would be rollerblading through the neighborhood, and they'd be playing these awesome kind of pop-up shows around town, even when they were huge. And from that, other big 90s artists would tour through Columbia. And so I was fortunate to have a dad that would take me to these shows, man. So I got to see some really, really cool artists at a young age. And I got to see like Blues Traveler, Johnny Lang, there was Farm Aid because of Hootie. It was in Columbia. So like Willie Nelson and Neil Young and all, the list goes on. But so that was the start of it. And I knew from a very early age that was the direction I wanted to go. And so when it came time for college, I chose University of Georgia in Athens because of the music scene in Athens. It was another scene that I had started to listen to with Drive-By Truckers and Widespread Panic and guys like that. So I kind of fell in line for that to get to Athens and was there for, how long did I stay? I stayed an extra year after I graduated. So I was there a little under 5.5 years. I don't know. So either way, so that again had another effect on me, because Athens has such an eclectic music scene. It's such a melting pot of influences, and I guess a lot of college towns are. But my experience in Athens was so cool and so unique, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. And so then I moved to Nashville about 10 years ago, and again it kept, my style kept evolving. I still had I even back when I was in Athens, I had this kind of, I don't know, I was starting to craft like the blues rock kind of darker sound, but I didn't even know it yet. And once I got to Nashville and started playing writers rounds and co-writing and stuff like that, that started influencing me a lot as well. And so then, fast forward up to a few years ago before the shutdown, I had really started to hone in the full band sound, because I'd had guys that played in the band with me, but I never had a set unit where we knew the song so well. We could, create that vibe on stage and that energy on stage. And so in 2000 and I'm losing track of years, but in 2019, we had some really, really cool opportunities. We had some cool opportunities in Nashville. We were able to play some pretty cool stages like CMA Fest and that sort of thing. But then in 2019, we started to really get some out of town stuff. We went over to Europe for the first time and played 5 different cities, and that was incredible. And came back, and literally a week after we got back, drove out to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and opened up for Leonard Skinner out there. And it was a whirlwind of, it was like 6 weeks of just chaos, and it was so much fun. And so that was kind of what was happening with me. And I was still, and also at the same time, I was still bartending whenever I was home in Nashville, still paying the bills with that. And so we were planning also for 2020. We had 2 tours booked in Europe. We recorded, like I mentioned earlier, we recorded the 4 songs in February. We had a tour booked for the UK in April, and then Europe, UK and Europe for September. And obviously the shutdown then happened. And so it obviously stopped the wheels from turning. But for me, it was a weird sense of calm with it, because in this business, whether it's music business or any business, there's a lot of times where you're not really sure where you fall in terms of progress, like how far along you are, how close you are to where you want to be, that sort of thing. You just know that you got to work as hard as you can, because there's other people out there working just as hard or harder, and you're trying to keep up. You want to make sure that you don't fall behind. You want to make sure that you're outworking the next guy. So when the shutdown happened, it was sort of this weird calm that like everyone's not working right now. No one's working harder than you. No one's doing the things that you think you should be doing right now. And so that was a weird kind of epiphany that I had at some point, because I realized how calm I was for like the first month. I was like, oh wow, that's okay. That's what it is. And so that was great. And then after I got over that, I started getting really, really ready to get back on the road again. And so that I had the opportunity to play a couple shows last fall, which I was very grateful for. I think we were up in New Hampshire maybe, and that was a lot of fun. And then we got to play another show in South Carolina towards the end of the year, and that it was just scratching the itch of being on stage. And Nashville opened up very gradually and very slowly. We just got back to fully wide open about a month ago, and but they started having writers rounds. And if people listening right now aren't familiar with what a writers round are, I keep saying that it's basically you get songwriters that get on stage and play acoustic, and you get like anywhere from 2 to 4 to maybe 5 people on stage, and they literally just go down the line and then circle back around and just play their songs essentially. And so they started having those around August of last year. And I remember it had been so long since I had heard myself through a monitor or a speaker or anything, or even my guitar through a monitor or speaker. Just the sound of that was such a rush, man. It was such a shot in the arm, and that was so cool. And so now, fast forward again to present day, stuff's opening back up. We've been very fortunate to with the band. We have a residency here in Nashville at a place called Tin Roof in Midtown, and we play the last Monday of every month. And it started out as just a way to play shows, and Tin Roof was nice enough to believe in me and knew that I would make it worth their while. I've had my buddies come on, and we usually have a couple other acts other than myself play. And we've been doing that, and then now there's other shows popping up as well, which is so much fun. We played a place called Exit In last week. We played Basement East back in May, which these venues, if you're not in Nashville, you're not familiar with. They're these venues that I have a lot of respect for, and it's been very cool to be able to be on that stage. And so, yeah, man. And so now again, back, personal, professional life, it's like the music is coming back steadily. It's great. That ball's rolling in the right direction, and it's starting to pick up pace again, which is always exciting. I'm still bartending on the side because there's not enough coming in from music right now in order to sustain it. But it's been so nice getting back to normal, and Nashville being wide open again. As frustrating as sometimes as the bachelorette and bachelor parties are to deal with when they're on their party trucks in the middle of the road going 3 miles an hour and you're late. Man, it feels really, really good to be getting back, because it's all like a means to an end for me. So it all just means if the world's opening back up, that means music's coming back, and that's the most exciting part.
I remember when you and I spoke a couple months ago, we were talking about conditioning and training, and what have you been doing with your voice? What have you been doing to condition yourself during this time up to now?
Mostly just rehearsals. We, during the shutdown, especially in the beginning, we weren't even able to get in the same room with each other. So just getting back with the band, and our rehearsal space is, it's a cinder block basement with a PA system from, I don't know, the 1800s or something like that. It's awful. So it's not the best quality, but that's what I cut my teeth doing. And so being able to hear myself, and obviously taking care of being cautious, like, having earplugs, stuff like that, but being able to play these songs. Luckily, we play the songs enough where I know pitch wise where to be. I'm not having to like reach too hard. I'm not trying to strain too hard. But having those rehearsals with the full band, not just, in a room by yourself, with the full band, with the extra noise, with, everything else going on, that's helped me start to get my voice back to where it was before. And then obviously the residencies help so much, because there's only so much you can experience in a rehearsal room. You have to be on stage. You have to be in front of somebody. You have to have that energy flowing to know what it's going to be like. And so that came back pretty quickly, and I was very happy with that. And we haven't played anything extensive, all of our sets. I think the longest set we played was maybe an hour. So it's not like I'm up there doing the 4-hour sets that the guys down on Broadway are doing, which is I mean, so impressive. The dudes down there that do that, it blows my mind. I could not imagine doing it. It's I have the ultimate respect for that. Even the guys even playing it, that's such a long set to do. These guys do doubles and triples sometimes. It's outrageous. But so that's what I've been doing, just playing with the band, making sure that I'm singing stuff that I'm familiar with, making sure that I'm choosing keys that my voice is familiar with, and we've gradually started to introduce new stuff in different keys, and that's sort of been the I don't know, the exercise of how to of keeping it healthy, but also developing it, because you want to continue to get better, essentially.
And with that, memory serves me correctly, I've got to say happy birthday to you.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it was last week. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And a big shout out to Adele. The event that you went to, or excursion, looked pretty awesome, especially the food, the tacos.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely, man. It's so Adele's been great. We've been together for a while now, and it's her stomping grounds over there, man. She goes to Asheville a lot. We were in Asheville, North Carolina. And we had a blast. We were at this place called White Duck Tacos. Shout out White Duck Tacos. Oh man, it was like right on the riverfront, and we had just driven in. We literally drove straight from Nashville right to that place, and man, those tacos were incredible. And obviously, like you said the intro about the burritos, man. I'm a sucker for Mexican food, man, and burritos, tacos. That's my jam, dude. So we went right there and took care of business. But yeah, then the next few days we kind of spent like waterfall hiking and just chilling outside, and it was super relaxing and chill. And it was my 34th birthday, so it's not like I wanted to, I don't know, I've been over having a celebration for my birthday for a long time, and so that was really like the coolest way I could have spent it. It was a lot of fun.
You look 25, to be honest. Even
Thanks,
with
man.
the beard, you still look 25.
Thank you very much. Well, it's funny that I've looked like this, except for the length of facial hair and hair. I've basically looked the same since I was like 18. I've looked 30 since I was 18. So it's been a thing.
Imagine when you shave off that beard. I bet you could pass for like really early 20s, because your skin is really good.
Thanks, man. One of these days I'm gonna give it a shot, but we'll see how it goes.
I think if not a clean shave, like a David Beckham or maybe a Jason Statham type of stubble.
For sure. Yeah. There's a good comparison either way, so I'll take either one.
For everyone tuning in, we've got the legendary, and I mean legendary because his voice is absolutely timeless. Drew Dixon, good friend.
Thanks,
you are welcome. I've had the pleasure to know him for quite some time now. We've been wanting to get him live on Power 98.5, and the timing is just absolutely perfect. And with that being said, why is because his new release, Run, you can find it on all major platforms. Apple Music is the go-to for me. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do a live music drop of Run. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. Run by Drew Dixon.
She don't feel it. She's crazy if she think that I can't see it. She says she's waiting over me this time. Says she'd like to leave this whole damn thing behind. I said, hey, wait, I got something left to say. You should know before you're on your way. If you wanna run as fast as you can, I know this ain't gonna be the end. You ain't gonna find a better man. I know you'll come crawling back again. Love her when she tells me she's all mine. And 2 drinks in and she gone and changed her mind. She says she'd fly away with me. Then she tells her friends that she's this ain't gonna be the end. If you wanna run as fast as you can, I know this ain't gonna be the end. You ain't gonna find a better man. I know you'll come crawling back again. Back again.
Fact, you know people are going to be up and they're going to be shaking their ass dancing to this song.
I hope so, man. I hope so.
It's really, really good. And you know what? What I really believe of why you're absolutely blessed is because your voice on these tracks are the same as when you're performing live. And that's a little bit different. You don't find many musicians to where their voice is like not that different.
Thank you. That's a big compliment to me, or for me. I've heard that before, and I take that with, wholeheartedly. I appreciate that because I try to do that. I try to put the same emotion into it either way, and so that's great that it comes across like that.
What would be the best advice that you can offer upcoming music artists and those that are looking to break out into the industry, since you are what I consider seasoned? You're booking shows, you understand producing, you understand writing, you're a seasoned musician. And now what's happening is you're growing and you're advancing, you're elevating. What can you share with those people who are in struggle, coming out of struggle, and to offer hope that don't give up on your craft, don't give up on your gift?
Yeah, it's not going to be a great answer, but it's literally what you just said. Just don't give up, just like stick with it, keep going. And because that's in this town, you see so many people that show up and then realize that what they're up against and then bail. And it's still cliche that if it was easy, everyone would do it. And there's so much that people don't realize that, there are people that move to this town and within the first few months or couple years, it just takes off for them, man. And it's the stars align, and that's awesome. But for the most part, that is not how it goes, man. And I'm sure the same is, for a lot of the entertainment industry. I'll reference that because I don't know much about any other business industry, but it's my thing. I've always loved the saying, the say yes until you have to say no. It's like the idea of whether it's writing or performing or whatever. It's like just always say yes. Like, what if you're here to pursue music? Why would you ever say no to an opportunity? Why would you ever say no to someone asking to co-write? Why would you ever say no to someone asking you to play a writer's round or a small show, even if it's at a venue that you've played a ton of times and there's never really a good crowd there, whatever? It's like, dude, like, you can always get better. You can always take something away from a performance. And I don't know, that's my main thing. And I had that kind of passed down to me from a college professor, and just the ability to take, no matter what you're listening to or what you're experiencing, as bad as it is, find something positive to take away from it. And that kind of has transferred itself into my experience with music, because there's a lot of times the highs are high and the lows are real low, man. So like, you got to be able to even it out yourself. I mean, there's so much I don't know, there's so much that can get you down, but you got to be able to pull yourself back up. And and I say that like it's easy. It's not. Like, there's people with very serious mental health stuff in this industry, and that's something to be taken very seriously. But I don't know, I try to find the silver linings and the positive in even the worst situations. And there's been plenty of them. There's been so many times where, you know, you show up to a gig or you show up to a write or you're about to show up to a gig, you're about to leave for a gig, and it just gets canceled for no reason, you know. It's just like, it's out of your control, and it's something that you have to be able to just bounce back from. And that's part of this industry. So talking to other musicians or people that are just starting, it's like, man, just don't give up. Don't get discouraged. It's easy to, and you're going to. I mean, I do. I still, there will be times even in the near distant, you know, ultimate future where it's impossible not to get down a little bit, but you have to be able to bounce back at some point. Otherwise, then this industry is not for you.
That was actually perfectly said, and I love the ending of it. Seriously, most people have a fantasy, Drew, that this is going to be easy, and it's not. Because unless you've got a major record label under contract, hijacked in a really bullshit contract, dumping at least $250,000 minimum, if not more, into talent. Between Billboard and because everything is paid for.
Everything.
What else? What other choice do you have to do?
Exactly, man. And it's one of those things that it's a reality that doesn't really set in until you get to a town like Nashville or LA or New York, where it's just in your face, where you're kind of forced to come face to face with it and learn the industry. Because there's only so many classes you can take. There's only so many books you can read. But once you're in the middle of it, when you're literally just, you know, when you've dived into what the harsh realities of it all are, that's when you learn whether it's for you or not. That's when you realize if you want to really make it the long game, or if you're just here to, you know, have a little fun and then, you know, go back to whatever it was you're doing at home, that kind of thing.
You've got a live show coming up on June 28th.
Yes. That's one of the residencies at Tin Roof that I was talking about earlier. We've been calling it Muddy Monday, and we've got it's myself and a band called Willie Pearl and Ross Livermore, who I've known since the Athens days. He actually came down and played a show with me, and I went up to New York City in 2009, 2010 maybe, and played a show with him. So we're doing a show, and it'll be full band, 45 minutes each, and free show, drink specials on, you know, all my favorites: tequila, Rumplemans, Jameson.
Who would you like? It'll be a good time. Oh, it sure will. And seriously, I cannot wait. Whether it's a small show, a live concert, I'm going to be there. Definitely.
Man, I hope so, man. So I've got a bunch of friends that have randomly all kind of from all areas moved to Denver. So I need to get out there soon, man.
You should. I mean, honestly, it was one of the best and most unexpected, interesting moves that ever happened. Like, you know, I don't mind being open. Like, so my landlord sold his house. I take it you are aware of all this crazy real estate crap that's going on. I mean, people are buying.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Spending over $100,000 on a house they're never going to get back on. I don't understand this overspending, purchasing.
Yeah, it's wild. It's the same thing's happening here in Nashville, man. It's a bummer to see.
So my friend, like I rented from a family friend, was selling it, and I had two options. I was like, do I stay on the East Coast full time, or do I go ahead and take the leap of faith, take the opportunity, be bi-coastal again, and come out here? And I'm going to tell you, it was the best freaking decision I ever made. And
that's cool.
Colorado, like. No, I'm just like back to Vegas or you know, another city, not New York. I haven't liked New York since my early 20s, but yeah,
right.
You got to get your ass out.
I've had some great times in Colorado, man. I did a tour out there with a jazz band actually back in 2014, and had so much. It was like 2 weeks, and we had a blast, man. And then I've been out there skiing a couple times. It's been about 7-8 years now, but. Even in the summertime, I say even in the summertime, in the wintertime, obviously it's picturesque, it's ridiculous, but like even in the summertime, people don't think about it, like it's still just gorgeous out there.
Well, I'm serious. I hope you do book a show out here, because there are a lot of places that will. How the heck would they not open up the doors for you?
Yeah,
come on.
Appreciate it. Thanks, dude.
Who would you like to give a shout out to?
Man, shout out to my band. They've been rolling with me for, you know, my guitarist has been with me since 2007. And the other guys, have been with me for a few years now, and they've been so gracious. I've been very lucky to have them beside me here in Nashville, because a lot of the times that's the toughest part, is just finding guys that believe in what you're doing. So big shout out to them. Obviously, all my family and stuff like that. My grandmother turns 90 next month, so shout out to her. But yeah, man, that's about it, brother.
So I know I am Drew Dixon Instagram is the go-to for me. Where would you like people to go and really connect with you, email you, find you, interact with you?
I check Instagram the most. I rarely look at Facebook. I once in a while will look at my messages on there and realize I haven't responded to something like 6 months ago, so I feel bad. But Instagram is where I'm the most active for sure. The website's the same thing. It's IamDrewDixon.com. Same way it's spelled in Instagram, all that stuff. But yeah, if you want to do that, the information on email is all on there. I'm pretty sure my email is linked to my Instagram. I'm honestly not sure. I should probably know that. But yeah, even that's pretty easy. It's info@IamDrewDixon.com. It all kind of follows the same theme. That's the easiest way, man.
Hold the line. We're going to close out. I want to thank everyone for tuning in on all platforms. The Power 98.5 satellite radio app, Alexa, and I hope she doesn't start talking, radio line, MyTuner, StreamInter.com, radio.com, now known as Odyssey, and wherever else you're tuning in live, including the website on the Power 98.5, power985.com website. Blues, soul, and burritos, and not always in that order. My good friend, as well as one of the top legendary music artists out there, Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood, my guy.
Get whiskey and wine on one of your films, or you even run.
Yeah, whatever, man.
Any of them. They're all great.
Any of them, man. That's right. Thank you so much for having me, man. This has been awesome.
You're welcome, Drew. So like I said, Drew, hold the line. We're closing out.
We'll do.
Drew Dixon. Check him out. I am Drew Dixon. His Instagram. You're going to love it. Have a great afternoon, everyone.